looked around the league, anything you pulled from the way teams were handling kickoffs that surprised you at all, or was it what you expected?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we all knew. I mean, teams are going to force teams to return the ball as much as they possibly can. I don't think you want to kick it to them at the 15-yard line, so you're seeing them kick it back there and flirt with the goal line, so you see a handful of touchbacks, but certainly not many. But yeah, I think it's pretty much what we expected. I think it is exciting. I love the fact that the play's playing out. It gives us a lot more involved in the game, which is great.
If it's going to land in the end zone, do you want your guys to let it go? And if it's right near the end zone, does that put them in a tough position?
Yeah, definitely. It is definitely a good question because there's definitely a decision-making component to that, and it's this fine line as a coach. You want your players to play smart and make good decisions. Obviously, if the average drive starts at 29.5-yard line at the end of the play when it's returned, then the 35 is way better than that. So we'd like to take the touchback if the ball's in there, but you also don't want your guys looking down at the line and all that. So it takes a player who's certainly aware. Our first kick return of the game against Green Bay was a little bit like that. We were like a yard deep, and it's one of those ones you don't want to have hesitation in your players, so you tell them, hey, if you're unsure, you got to go. But if you clearly know you're back in the end zone, then obviously I think everybody in the league saying take the touchback, unless it's a situation in the game like Minnesota Bears last week where obviously you're doing it for clock purposes or whatnot.
Do you maybe a positive and a negative after watching the tape of teams?
Yeah, I would say overall disappointed, really. There's no way around that. Collectively as a team, as a group, individually, my performance, our players, definitely wasn't what we wanted or expected going into the game. I think there's a lot of things that we could all done better, starting with myself. Positives, we had a nice coverage on the kickoff. Leaf had a decent return on one of them, although their net was still good. Their punter did a good job. Negatives, we didn't punt the ball well at all. And we didn't cover it well, but it really starts with the punt. It's hard to cover bad punts. We didn't punt the ball very well, so then it made it difficult to cover. And then, what I always tell players is, or teams, I say the great teams take care of each other. When the offense isn't playing great, the defense steps up. When defense not playing great, maybe the special team steps up and the offense helps out. On any given play, what happens to me is like the punter doesn't play great, but the coverage makes up for it. Or the coverage isn't doing great and the punter ends up helping those guys out. I think great teams take care of each other, and great players take care of each other. Coaches take care of the players. Players take care of the coaches. Or players make coaches look good. Coaches help players look good. It all goes back and forth, and I think that's probably the critical thing with where we're at now is just looking at ourselves and saying, hey, all right, what can I do better? Instead of saying, well, I got put in this spot. I mean, we all got that, and everybody could say that, and we just go around the room, and we'd end up saying, like, well, it's somebody else's problem. And unfortunately, the truth is that's a little bit of our society today. Nobody likes to take accountability and blame. The truth is the only way to move forward is to say, hey, man, I could do much better than that. I know I'm better than that, and I'm going to be a part of the solution and help fix the problem. And as soon as you get a group of guys that say that, you got a chance to really move forward and grow. And then not to make a long answer longer, but I think that really, to me, is the key in this league. I think the great teams get better and better and better and better throughout the course of the year, and they play their best football down the stretch. And these seasons are long, and there's a huge developmental process that goes on during the season. And so I think that's kind of where we're at now.
You guys take that accountability this week?
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, like I said, starting with me, obviously I didn't do good enough. I mean, I always say to the players, anytime the film doesn't look like you want it to look, I think if you're worth a lick as a coach, then you're saying, hey, man, how can I fix that and help that? That is solely on me. And now the same token, if you're the player, you need to sit there and look at the film and say, man, that's on me, because I knew, where I was supposed to be or how I was supposed to do it, and their guy ended up keeping me from getting that done. I need to be better than him. And I say this league comes down to two things. It comes down, if you got a double team, you got to dominate it. You got a single, you got to win the one-on-ones in this league, in this business. And if you think, well, I'm blocked, you're asking me to be blocked and also make a tackle. Yeah, you got to get off a block and make a play, and that's the National Football League.
I asked you about the accountability element from your end. I'm just curious, when you say you need to be better, is that the play calls within the game? Or are you talking about the game planning and prep? Is it the work that goes in before or the work during the?
I would say all of the above. I mean, there's so many ways that you could be better as a coach, whether it be how you word something in a meeting that could have a direct influence on what the guy envisions or pictures in his head, or the clips that you use to demonstrate an example of what you're talking about or something you're trying to accomplish or achieve, what image that portrays to that guy. Maybe it portrays one image to one guy and a different one to another, and so you got two guys that are on slightly different pages, whether that be the drills in practice that we do, and does the drill really show up in the game? Is it a good enough job of simulating it, or did it teach a bad habit or something like that? It's just endless. And that's the great part of really this game. I mean, that's the thing that keeps you going as a coach, or really makes it fun. Like, if it were easy, it wouldn't be any fun. But the fact is, this is just the greatest challenge ever. And it truly gives me energy, and why I love coming to work, because I like trying to fix problems and solve things and figure things out and see if we can get answers and make a group better and then better and better. And so really, ultimately, like right now, this is incredible.
There was a pretty consequential kickoff at the Monday night game with the Bears and Vikings. Just the Bears said they wanted to kick it out of bounds. They thought about onside again. Then you see O'Connell telling this guy to run it out of the back of the end zone. Just like, what's the margin of error and stuff like that when you're trying to kick it out? How many things do you have to be prepared for?
Kicking it out of bounds, or
out of the end zone is what they plan
out of the
to do
end
with
zone?
Tua.
Yeah. It's hard to kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. I'll just say that, period. A year ago, you saw a lot of guys kick touchbacks, and a lot of those didn't go out of the back of the end zone. And then obviously, it depends on who your kicker is. Like, ours probably has a better chance than some to do that. But ultimately, I think probably what happened is, like, the situation got on them. They thought to do the best thing that they could in the moment. It didn't work out. And that's also what makes this game great, man. You got a lot of after the fact, like, oh, we should have done. The challenge is when you're in those moments, man, it's hard to think of everything. But
You get Hockey back potentially, at least this week. What is he? What do you like about him as a return man, and what does he add to your special teams unit?
Yeah, Vaki, he's just a tremendous talent. He's super quick. He's explosive. He's powerful. Like, he's really like a lot of those safety running back body types. That's what you want. You want a guy who's 200 plus pounds, who's very strong, very quick, very physical, athletic, so he can change direction. So he's ends up being a very positive player, both in coverage and return game. So they have a versatile skill set. So that's him. Obviously, him returning the ball. He's got the running back background. And for him, he's unique because he's also got that defensive background, so it helps him in coverage. He played great for us a year ago. We're obviously excited to get him back as soon as we can.
Because we haven't seen it too often. What was Jack's reaction to a game where what didn't go as planned?
Yeah, I think, he's done that sporadically throughout my time here, to be honest with you. I think he's had some games that are not as good as others, for sure. And the one great thing about him is, man, he just can't wait to get to the first practice, like those 2 days off after the game probably drive him nuts. But he's a very competitive guy. Obviously, he's a great player. And that happens to a lot of these guys. They have ups and downs. Sometimes when you punt the ball, like I say, sometimes you either want to be really bad or you want to be really good. And what I mean by that is, obviously we take really good, but really bad would be like, man, it was so bad it went 30 yards, bounced on the ground, and rolled for another 20. And nobody in the fans really knew or said much about it because the end result ended up being good. And that happens a lot in this league, more often than people realize. We were just like in between bad, so it was like 45 yards down the field with 4 seconds of hang time right to the returner, and that's like the worst possible thing you could have. So anyway, we kind of had one of those days, and we got to be better, but I got no worries about him bouncing back. Yeah.
There was obviously a negative reaction, obviously, to the performance overall. Do you feel like, based on what you guys have done, you've been here through the whole rise, you deserve the benefit of the doubt to kind of get this thing in order? I mean, like,
the very, very best thing about this whole business is it's like totally the opposite of what you think happens in life. You work your tail off, you start moving up the ladder, you get better and better at your job, your profession, things get easier. You're a teacher and you develop your lesson plan, and then you're like, man, that's it, I got it, it's locked in place. And so as you get older, your job gets easier, and the better you get at it, really the easier things get. And in this business, in this league, it's the total opposite. Everything just gets harder. The better you play, the harder it gets. The better, the more creative you are, the harder it gets. What happens to us is people around the league, their general managers are talking to their head coach, why don't you guys do this more? Why don't you do that more? These guys got players that are tough and gritty. And other players are hearing that. The Detroit Lions, everyone gets sick of that, and it builds up energy, motivation. So you just put a bigger and bigger target on your back, and your job gets harder and harder, and the expectations go up, and it's just tougher to match them. And then they take, the draft order, and they put you last, and so that gets harder, and everything does it. And it's what makes this game great. When you're playing well and you're a good football team, it's just going to get harder. And what you've done in the past means absolutely nothing other than the fact that it just made today harder than yesterday.
Just want to talk about one good play that you guys had that was negated by the penalty on Craig. What's kind of the teaching point when someone jumps off sides and you want to react to get that penalty, but it can't be too late or they'll call it on you?
I guess there's a combination of being too late and then technically he's too far off the ball. So I think the best way or easiest way to look at it would be like if you were the quarterback in shotgun and the guy moved in front of you, as the quarterback, you can't move when he moves. And so the depth of our alignment put him in a position where he's not able to move. Like had he been a wing, like a tight end or a wing on an offensive play and he's a yard off the ball and the guy across from him moved, it would be legal for him to do that. So unfortunately, it was just a weird circumstance and we got hit with it. He was trying to do what really in a lot of ways we teach just from a position that that is not able to respond that way. And that's on me, so, yeah.
Good. I just want to open up with starting with obviously addressing week one against Green Bay. Obviously, we left Lambeau with a loss on the wrong side of the day there, but I really want to dive into the game real briefly and just put everything out there as far as how I saw it. So coming off the field, you guys know ultra competitive nature of the game. My temperament and things, I was pissed, and I'm ready to scald everybody. But then you sit back and look at it, and after the second time and after the third time, you go, there's a lot of good football on this tape. We played 47 snaps defensively, and they had 188 passing yards, 78 rushing. So if you look at an NFL game and you tell me the Green Bay Packers are going to have 188 passing yards and 78 rushing, did you play a winning brand of football? I would tell you yes, but then you have to look deeper into that. So what happened? Why did we give up 27 points? And it's a lot of things that go into that, a lot of different variables that go into that. But let's start with the pass game, 188 yards. Well, I believe it was play 18, 19 of the game. We had back-to-back plays where we allowed a 48-yard explosive pass and a 17-yard explosive touchdown pass that we went into the game saying, you got to make these guys beat us. You cannot give them things because that's when they thrive. You have to make them beat us, and we did not do that on back-to-back plays. Inexcusable, and that's been addressed. So you take, 48-17, I'm not a math major, but I believe that's 65 yards. You take that off of 180, you're looking at 120 yards passing on the day. Let's go into the run game. We held them to 3.1 rushing. That's a good day in the NFL against a back like that. It's a good day. But we should have been dominant in the run game. We should have been at 2.2. Why do I say that? Because one of those was a 15-yard explosive run that should have never happened. That's been addressed as well. So when you go in the day, it's a lot of good to take for it. So 47 plays, I just gave you 3. Where you 2.2 in the run game and 120 yards passing. That's who we are. And that's who I expect us to be, and that's who we will be. And it's non-negotiable. And all this stuff has been addressed with the people it need to be addressed with. And more importantly, the players are holding each other accountable. And in the NFL, that's why each practice, each rep you get, each opportunity you get on that grass is so critical and important because you never know which one is going to be the one. You never know. You can't leave the game playing this game of we played good defense on 40 snaps, but 7 snaps. We're not doing that this year. You're going to pull your weight. I'm going to pull my weight. The staff's going to pull their weight. And we're moving on to Chicago. And I'm looking for us to play up to the standard that we're capable of playing up to. Any questions?
One thing that jumped out was just the no sacks, 2 quarterback hits. I don't think any guy had more than 1 total pressure together. We just shut that part of the operation. What was your thought? Was it something that Green Bay was just doing a good job on a quick sets and stuff like that? But with the pass rush specifically, what was your observation?
They were nudging, chipping all day and getting the ball out. They weren't going to allow it. Go back with your stopwatch and turn on the pass plays. They weren't going to allow it. But more importantly, I want to give credit to our guys of not letting this guy out of the pocket. That's things that we've struggled with in years past. Jordan Love has burned us in years past with his legs. He had 1 run, I think, for 4 yards. So I want to look at the positives in that. Yeah, we could have done things and things like that, but we had a specific game plan. And for the most part, the guys went out and executed the game plan. And I just gave you the stats. That should have been a dominant outing on Sunday, and it will be moving forward.
I want to talk about the 2-play drive. The 2-play scoring drive, the 65 yards. Looked like Kirby bit down on an over route there.
Kirby did exactly what he was supposed to do.
So he has the ability to kind of ad-lib.
Kirby did exactly what he was supposed to do with the structure of the defense.
On the pick play, how can Terrion defend that better?
By learning by previous mistakes. You guys been around here. We got the exact same play at San Francisco last year. Turn it on to Pearsall. Learn from your mistakes. You're a professional.
When the decision was made to bring pressure from the linebackers, what was your assessment of Alex, Jack, and Derek when you decided to bring blitzes and pressures from the
Tim
linebackers?
just gave us the stats. What were those outstanding stats, Tim? We got, 2 pressures? We got to be better. Got to be better. You get your number called, you got to be better. Point blank, period. That's also been addressed.
How much did the groin play into those 2 plays that he?
If you're injured, come out the game. If you're injured, come out the game. We're not making any excuses. No. We're not making any excuses. Just like if I have a play called I shouldn't have called, that's on me. A player has a job to do, that's on them. We all earn our paycheck. There won't be any free rides this year. We all come to the stadium with a job to do your job, point blank, period.
You mentioned good job keeping the quarterback in the pocket. Caleb's a different animal in that regard in terms of just his mobility, squeezing through gaps, and just the quick first step. How much more of an emphasis is that this week compared to week 1?
It's a heightened emphasis if you watch the Monday night game, not compared to week 1 or anything. Jordan Love has scramble ability. But if you watch week 1, and you not only learn from your mistakes, but you learn from others. Those are the really smart people to me. People that learn from others' mistakes. To me, I hope it's easy to learn from your own mistake. Shame on you. But when you start to really heighten your awareness in this league, in this sport, is when you turn on the film and see the previous opponent make a certain mistake, and you're able to learn from that and make sure it doesn't happen to you. So Caleb was outstanding. He extended a lot of drives. He put points on the board. He gave his team opportunity to win last year via his ability to escape the pocket and run. We're very aware of that, and we'll have a plan for it.
Ben's greatest strength as a play caller.
Excuse me?
What is Ben's greatest strength as a play caller?
Everything. Next question.
Jeff, I'm curious, you mentioned that players have already started to hold themselves accountable for last week. Are you able to share any of what you've witnessed of that with us and how the players are holding them accountable and not just
Any accountability, player to player, coach to player, will stay between us, and no disrespect or anything like that. But I keep that stuff close to the vest because of the level of trust that we've built and the way we've been able to look each other in the eye on Monday and shoot it straight. So I would never disclose those conversations, but you guys see the game, and we see the tape. I think it's clear as day. And then I have to do things to help these guys more, too. Everybody know we're a man team. So how can I help these guys in those man situations, in those man windows where we've shown we're going to play man?
Shep, you have talked about the importance of Ben to your development. You'd spend, time in his office, and he helped, shape your understanding of offense and make you a better defensive coach.
Yep.
How much are you just looking forward to the chess match that this Sunday is going to be?
I'm looking forward to seeing our players respond off of a loss. I could care less who's calling the plays, who's over there, what's the scenario, what the media wants to make this out to be. We are coming off a loss, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to seeing not only our players, but our coaches respond coming off of a loss.
Dan and Hutch yesterday, they said, when we talked to Dan and Hutch yesterday, the emphasis was on winning the one-on-ones to free up Hutch, but Hutch said he probably only got 2 or 3 one-on-ones. Is there anything you can do to free him up more, or is it just about winning those fleeting chances?
If Hutch is occupying 2 or 3 people, there's 11 other guys there's 10 other guys on the field. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and give you guys my game plan, but Hutch is the caliber player that he is, and everybody in the league knows it. Turn on San Fran tape and tell me who's one-on-one blocking Nick Bosa. Turn on Green Bay tape when you get an 8-game sample size. Who's one-on-one blocking Micah Parsons? When you're the elite of the elite, people are going to plan for you. And that's why he's the caliber player that he is. We will counter that, and Hutch will counter that. He's an ultra-aware player. He knows how to manipulate things and move himself around. We're working off a 1-game sample size, people, and 47 plays at that. That's not a huge sample size at all. There will be things that change, but I'm not going to overreact over the pressures. Like I said, 47 snaps, take away those 3 plays, and you guys tell me would y'all have liked that as Lions fans as a defensive performance. But you cannot play that game. You cannot take plays out. That's why each play is that important and that critical that we detail and do your job each and every play.
It's not Chicago.
Guys, Jeremy and Dave. Seems like one of those guys that maybe took advantage of some of those one-on-ones was Al-Qadim Muhammad. Only had 7 snaps, but maybe a couple pressures in there. Just curious what you thought of his game, and maybe did he earn himself a little bit more of a role?
It's what I saw the last 6 weeks. It's the reason he's here. He earned himself a role in that game, but 47 plays. You know what I mean? 47 plays defensively. He did have a bigger role in the game. If we would have played the norm, you're somewhere around 60, 65 snaps, he would have played 15, 20. But the way the game unfolded, it was what it was. We had those guys behind the sticks all day. The opening drive, it's an emphasis. Starting the game fast, going in the half and coming out the half. The momentum swings of football. We have to be great in those situations. Point blank, period. 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 2nd and long, 3rd and long. That's where we want to live, and that's where we kept them. We have to thrive in those situations.
Just wanted to close it with maybe a little bit more on the Bears. First, does Ben's offense, how similar is it to what he ran last year? I know it's different personnel, but just conceptually.
First thing I told the guys is, I didn't mean cut you off. You had more?
Well, and then I just was curious about some of the personnel too.
I told the guys, it's going to be training camp practice, guys. It's training camp. DA, I know DA, known him a while. You know, kind of AG came from that system. So it's all the same, not only offensively, but defensively. You turn their tape on and look at it deeply. It's a lot of the same. I told the guys, it's training camp. Don't go chasing ghosts. Don't go worrying about if he brings in eligible and he's a receiver. Listen, we all understand and respect Ben Johnson as a person, more importantly, but also as a play caller. It's why he got afforded opportunities in. And we all understand this. But I clearly want to make this about the players. They're the ones going to play. Ben will tell you the same thing. They're the ones going to play and executing all these things we're drawing up. So I want to keep this about them, and they just need to understand. You got a 1-game sample size of Ben as a new play caller. Is that enough to, they're going to do this, they're going to do that? No, it's not. So we're going in with a tight wound plan where these guys understand we have adjustments, we have certain things we're going to do, and it's about us and understanding that stuff and making sure as long as we go out and execute, not say, well, if you take out that play, we'd have played dominant. No, let's put in all the plays and play a dominant brand of football like I believe we're capable of doing as a defense.
How good of a system They're just offensive skill talent. Some young guys there, obviously. But
Highly talented offense. You said talent-wise, right?
Yeah.
Highly talented. All over the place. My guy Swift, that's my guy. Make no mistakes about it. For 60 minutes Sunday, he won't be. But that is my guy, man. I have the utmost respect for these players. DJ Moore, Aduze, Cole Kmet. I mean, these are real guys in this league, across the board. He's implemented things on the O-line to help them, and that showed up. So we know the task at hand. We're going to have a tight wound plan, and we're going to play Detroit brand 2025 defensive football, guys.
To start off, the last game, the best thing about that is it's the first game of the season. Nobody's in panic mode. You know what I mean? So the players have been awesome, great attitudes. We had great preparation, just like we did last week. The bottom line is just about execution and the details of everything. And then, taking some, a little bit less so guys are playing a little bit faster so everybody knows exactly what to do. But I'm encouraged. There were some encouraging things in the game, obviously. And then we move on. That's what we've done. Great attitude by the guys. How do we fix this? Because we're in the fix-it business as coaches. So Dan's been awesome. Players have been awesome. We had a good practice yesterday. And we're moving on to Chicago. Go ahead.
Explain some of the roots of maybe some of the communication problems you guys were having up front. Just how, the blocking schemes maybe weren't getting relayed or plays weren't getting relayed properly.
I'm not going to go into all of that. But it's being addressed. It's being fixed. Again, taking some of these plays out where there's not a lot of communication, going on the road, we didn't do a lot of shifting and things like that. So it's going to be fixed.
Is it just due to youth, or how much of it was due to youth in your eyes, and how much?
No, it wasn't youth. Because there were some veteran guys that, weren't making the right calls and everything. So it's addressed. It's going to be fixed.
On the attention to detail, you mentioned maybe simplifying things. Is there anything else that you can do to kind of help the attention to detail?
Listen, and when I say that, it wasn't every play. Look, we're running plays that these guys have done. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's some new guys in there. But the bottom line is you got to go execute. And we didn't do that every single play. We just didn't. And we got behind the 8 ball sometimes. And then, you adjust. Just like we did, the second half, we came out. We started throwing a little bit and opening it up, and we started moving the ball. We got to do a better job, obviously, on third down there. Because we were manageable on third down. And we did a good job on fourth down. But we got to go down there, do a better job in the red zone. And that's part of my job. So that's been addressed.
Specifically with the ground game, John.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything here centers around that.
No doubt.
2.2 yards a carry is not
No
where
way.
you want to be. So when you say it's correctable, why is your confidence level rooted, or where is it rooted in getting those guys right?
Yeah, because we're doing plays that they've done. Now, there's some young guys, right? So we just got to make sure we give them the right looks, all the different type of right looks, and to make sure they know exactly what they're doing. And that's what we've done. We did an extra period in the runs this week, and I think it's going to help. And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I think that's what you got to do. It's an easy fix. Again, they're not in panic mode, all right? But 2.1, that ain't going to cut it. It should never happen. So against that defense, too, especially with the lead.
Apologize about that, John. What jumped out on Chicago's tape when you put it on? The first thing you were like, "Oh boy, that's something that we have to prepare for."
Well, I know Dennis Allen. I've worked with him before a few times. So nothing I haven't seen. Now, they had some injuries. They had some key guys that were out. So they'll be different. I mean, listen, we're preparing for everything. I know the way he is. Dan knows the way he is. Dan, obviously work with him. They got some good players. They're a good defense. And Dennis Allen does a great job. He does an awesome job. He gets after it. Blitz package wise, especially on third down. They're all disciplined. I know that. They hustle. So the bottom line is just for us, we just got to go execute. That's all I'm worried about is our guys right now, and we put the emphasis on it the last few days, and it'll continue all the way. And then if they don't like something, we take it out. It's easy. So.
Dan had a really.
Where do you see issues pop up in the red zone against the Packers?
And the Packers?
Yep.
Can we move on from that game? Yeah, let's move on.
Dan had a really good explanation for why Isaac didn't see more snaps, just being ill and only being there for third down day. That makes perfect sense. But what is your confidence level in just his full understanding of the offense? He's obviously a rookie coming into a big system. Where do you feel like he's at that stage?
I think his catching ability is big time. I've said that before. But he's smart and he's tough. He didn't have a lot of plays in the game, but he came in and that was an unbelievable catch. So his role will be expanded. He will help us.
You feel good about where he's at, though, in terms of the knowledge of the whole system?
Yeah, I do, because, he's here the whole week. He was listening in last week. He only had 1 day, so he's going to be ready to go.
You mentioned being encouraged by some things. What's your biggest encouragement about what you guys have done?
Well, I thought Jared played pretty well. Going into that game, and I told the offense this, it's a patience game against that type of defense. And I told you guys that before. The stat sheet should say almost 80%, which he was, and 7-8 players catching balls. It was a dink and dunk type of game. It's hard to get explosive plays on that type of defense. So, if the run game ain't going, then it's going to be one of those. And we got 4 explosive plays, because we started seeing a little bit different looks. So we have to take what the defense gives us, just like any other game. But I thought that was encouraging. The way we caught the ball and got upfield, I like that. Gibby was involved. There was a lot of checkdowns, just like I said. That's just the way that game goes. But I was encouraged by that. His focus, everybody's focus, especially the veteran guys, it was awesome. No panic mode. Okay, and that's what I love. We competed all the way to the end. You know what I mean? Even though, we weren't in it, but they competed all the way to the end. We went down and scored. That's encouraging. That's what a good team should do.
And similar to my question about Isaac, we don't know what Decker's status is. If you want to give an injury report, great. But
that's the head coach's responsibility.
Sure. If there's a chance Decker doesn't go, what is your comfort level in Gio and what he showed in terms of growth through camp if you need him on Sunday?
The good thing is, when Decker was out there, he got a lot of reps. So that's beneficial for him. So, there's things that we know we have to do to help. But listen, he did a really good job. And we'll be aware of that if that happens. But we're totally expecting Decker to play.
Okay. Is Gio, would he be next in line? You did sign a vet, too. He's got a little more experience.
I would think so. You got to ask Dan that.
So, John, what's the message to a player? What's the message to a player like Tate Ratledge, who obviously is hard on himself, wants to have a good debut, but just didn't?
Yeah, you just take it game by game. So you learn from what you did in the game, all right, and you just move on. Okay, so it's correctable, and you just stay on top of it. The more he plays, the better he's going to get. We really got 2 rookie guards, and I'm not worried about him because I liked what I saw in training camp. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to be a problem with him.
With Isaac, have you seen St. Brown kind of take him under his wing at all, and just have you seen that relationship blossom a little bit?
I think St. Brown's unbelievable. He's the captain. He makes this thing go, with Jared. Those guys are just, and Panay. Those 3 guys, their attitude just uplifts everybody. And every day they bring it. And it's just so awesome to see those guys. And I mentioned to you before, it's like Anquan Bolden. It's the same type of guy, man. What do we got to do? How do we do this? Okay, and he's helping everybody. Saint's grown over the last few years since the last time I was here. He's a captain, and he should help everybody. And it's all about what do we got to do to win. That's what we're all about. Whatever it takes. No egos here ever. And whatever it takes, man, let's do it.
How confident are you if you're faced with a similar kind of defensive structure that Green Bay put, that you guys can execute your game plan and move it down the field and score?
I'm very confident. I mean, we went against our defense. It's the same defense that we're going against in Chicago. It's the same type of defense. So, no, because we have great players. We have great players. So that's why I'm confident.